Welcome to this episode of Pay the Toll Boxing. I'm Twin.
And I am Jonathan Foreman.
And this episode right here is a special one. We're going to dedicate this to Big George Foreman. So for those that don't know, on March 21st, we lost a legend. Condolences to my brother Foreman. For any of y'all that don't know, it's not just a nickname. He is an actual foreman. George Foreman was his uncle. So
It's terrible. I'm already crying. This is crazy. Go ahead.
hey, we all been there, brother. But condolences to you, my brother, and all the family, man, for real. So we're gonna, like I said, we dedicating this to Big George Foreman. So for those that don't know about Mr. Foreman, you're about to learn now. Big George Foreman was born in Marshall, Texas, East Texas in the house, so that make him an East Texas legend. He grew up in Houston. He was a father, a husband, ordained minister, and yes, I'm reading notes because he did a lot of stuff. Best-selling author. He had over 10 books and cookbooks. Businessman. He was the front man in the face of many businesses, to include, of course, the George Foreman Grill, Meineke, U-Food Grill restaurants, and a line of cleaning products. He was an
Oscar Mayer Wiener. Don't forget Oscar Mayer Wiener, dog.
icon and
Uh,
athlete. He appeared in over 7 TV shows, and he also had his own TV show on ABC in 1993. ABC, big deal. I remember that show too when I was little. He
yep.
was a man of the community, opening the George Foreman Youth Community Center and the Foreman Charitable Foundation. Boxing commentator, joining HBO's boxing coverage. Legendary time when HBO was HBO.
Those pumping and jumping around the camp.
Yes, sir. Boxer, 76 wins, 86 of them KOs, 5 losses. 1968 Olympic gold heavyweight medalist. 1972 Pan American heavyweight champion. From 96 to 97 IBA heavyweight champion. From 95 to 97 WBU heavyweight champion. He was also the NABF and the WBA heavyweight champion multiple times. He was the IBF heavyweight champion, the WBC heavyweight champion, and the Ring Magazine heavyweight champion.
Lineal heavyweight champion.
And he was undisputed heavyweight champion. World Boxing Hall of Famer, International Boxing Hall of Famer, one of the GOATs, undisputed one of the GOATs. And without Mr. Foreman, we would not be here today and we would not have this podcast. So in addition to all of that, I want to say, get your rest, Big George, and thank you.
Man. Yeah. Yeah. It's thank you ain't even good enough of a word. I don't even know if there is a word for somebody like that. When you can, when you can pinpoint a turn in not just a person's life, but when you can pinpoint a turn in a family as a whole trajectory, uh, it's huge. It's really huge. It's really huge. It's really different when you can. I know the quality of life. I know my whole family knows the quality of life. They know. They know about things. They know we we just change. We're as smart as we are. We know what education is. We know what class. We know what everything is because one person stood out in our family and decided everything was going to change. And George George changed everything with the same swing of the punch that he used to commit crimes with. You know, like he tell people, man, I was knocking people over the head if it was for free just to get what they had. And that same right hand of his is what changed our family, everything. My family knew what something as simple as having like my dad said, they used to put newspaper over the holes of the wall so the wind would stay out, the wind and rain would stay out. The roof wasn't leaking no more. Something as simple as, hey, we got a bedroom. We got a new house. My dad went to college in California. He went to Cal University because of George. He got his education there. My dad knew what my aunts, all of them, everybody had a chance to, may rest her soul. She handled George's accounts, looked at the books and stuff, handled the business way at home. You know, her and my dad was running around with George, was doing the international broadcast, running, helping managing stuff, as far as like some of the promo deals and stuff like that. Even the boxing contract negotiations, like everything is different for our family because, you know, with the same hand, you know how they talk about water? George is water. Water can do two things. It can harden the egg or soften the potato, right? You know, this figure who is George Foreman to everybody is that's Uncle George. And I ain't gonna lie, that shit sucks. It's the same other Georgia people when I used to get in trouble running around with some of my partners. How was your uncle feel? What you asking me about him for? you know, I in my younger years I didn't necessarily resent George, but I never me and him once I got older, me and him, you know, when I came back from the Navy, he was right. He was like, John, you was your own person. And I knew it was stuff I could not do for you because I saw how you moved. You did everything for yourself. What am I to do with somebody who don't want nothing done for them because they don't feel like they earned it? You know that. You know, I even had the fights I had to do. You know, even the few fights I had was because of George, because he he did it for me. You know, fought on my first fight card was on Top Show event. It was Alfonso Lopez's. I'm sorry, Top Show Boxing was on Luis Acosta. We used to you know we used to manage and promote. His uncle had a promotional company, and he put on a few fights. I had my first couple fights with them, and then George was like, "Nah, I'm gonna help my nephew get more fights." George did. And I never asked him. And when I talked to him about it, he said, man, you never asked me for nothing. The one time I asked George for something, I had a deadlift at East Texas Baptist. And he was like, man, and he always kept that in memory. And he said, I was so excited that you actually came to me about something. He said, I finally felt like I had a use in your life. And that's just who he was. He ain't take no. George was a straight shooter with everything. He ain't take offense to nobody or nothing really like that. You know, and then what he did with me training wise, he gave me what he did. It was rough. It was hard, but it was some of the looking back at it. That nasty hard training was so fun still. I will never get the bet, but we made a bet. I was supposed to win a belt. I was supposed to at least win the Texas title. I was supposed to at least win the Texas title. Then COVID hit, and then everything just went stupid. I was supposed to win the Texas title, and I was supposed to get that Stingray, 67 Stingray shit. And never held up my end of the bargain. Never held up my end.
So,
Yeah.
uh, so I never met George.
You
I
did. You was in the gym with us.
Nah, not when I was there.
Oh man.
Uh-uh. But I saw him speak at TSU graduation. He was a speaker once.
Yeah. That's another thing with George.
Yeah.
It's probably about 2 to 300 people walking around here because he directly paid for their scholarship.
So that's the only time I really saw him in person. But I do remember one time. So for those that's watching, I used to go to the gym sometimes with Foreman. That's when we really got close and get in the ring with him sometimes and try
Uh,
to help him with a taller fighter since I'm taller than him. And one time he said, "Yeah, George might be coming through." And when I tell you that's the most nervous I ever been in my life, I was so glad he didn't come. If he did come, I wanted him to show up after we was done. Like an all-time great watching me in the like, nah. But for those of us that never got to meet him like that, what was he like personality wise?
a teddy bear, bro. And it's so crazy to think that a man that was known in one generation as this big, demeaning monster. I mean, big, right? It was his moniker, big. And then, we all got this frown look on our face as it is anyway. And then you get him to talking. It's like, bro, this is the sweetest thing I've ever met in my life. You forget for a moment that's still a man from Fifth Ward, bro. But George was truly one of the most caring people in the world. If you were genuine and you trying, he was all for it, dog. There was nothing, if you was trying, there was nothing that he would not do. I got family members that mess up over and over and messed up over and over. George would still be right there for him. Ain't even nothing to say. He would always still be right there for him. Even before he just passed, I had a cousin just get out of jail probably about 2 weeks ago, a couple weeks ago. And he needed a place to be or they wouldn't grant him his probation to get out. George signed off on it to get him home. Still signed off on it to make sure that he can come home, and then that way he can, my cousin can spend the rest of the last couple of days with his mama. The rest of her days she older too, but that's that right there. I think in the midst of his own sickness, he's still making sure everybody else all right.
Yeah.
That's that's George. That's George.
And from the outside looking in, like you said, like it's really it's multiple chapters in every book, but like from the outside looking in to see the switch and the change in him, because I remember growing up and going back and looking at his older fights and his demeanor and how he acted, how he spoke, and the perception of him, which it was truth to it probably, how he acted back then to when he came back in the 80s and the early 90s, and then
Yeah.
how he changed and how he evolved. Like it was cool to see a person go through that.
It
So
yeah, and and it even goes and you can see he was a different person even as he was fighting. Look at how aggressive he swung then versus how aggressive he did not swing then. He wasn't the same human being, but he was still had the same result.
hmm so far as in the ring, so say we're taking a person
Mm-hmm.
that never saw George fight, never saw
Mm-hmm.
George fight, never went back and watched it. What's the one fight you would tell them to watch?
Ooh. You know what? Because everything was on display and everything went so perfect this day, it would have to be the first Joe Frazier fight. Have to be. Because the game that George had a thing, plan your work and work your plan. No matter what, plan your work. You gotta, and by planning it, a good plan always has its faults in the middle of the plan, right? You know what can go wrong. And that means you already calculated for the wrongness here. If this happened, and you still had a plan for it. So plan your work and work your plan. He said this all the time in sparring. Even in hitting the bag. Plan your work and work your plan. The Joe Frazier thing was so beautiful. People just see the knockout and they ignore hey, I use hand to stop him here, punch here, step to the side here. Not that pivot nonsense we see. Stepping to the side, stepping off, half step back. Punch here, step, punch there, step to like the skills that were on true display there. Oh no, I can't get my hand back in time to block this. Okay, stick my arms and shoulders out and duck my chin behind it so he bumps up on me when he swings. And while I'm moving away, those are the things that see people don't know. If you don't know boxing and know what went on, you'll never see those things for as beautiful as they are. George was able to fight for as long as he did, even with the 10 years off, and still be at 48 years old before my grandmother told him to come on home and cut it out. He had to get this man, he had to get his mama on him to tell him to cut it off. You know, to see, I would give them the Frazier one fight and tell me everything that they saw inside of it, or I show them everything inside of it. I mean, you can give him the Michael Moore fight too. I mean, because he wins the championship that day because there's so many things done inside of that. Even the earlier 1-2s, George would throw the jab or something, and if he missed the jab, the cow guarding of the left hand still to move him one way. Throw the right hand, he misses, move him that way. But eventually, Michael's going to set up, line him in the middle, and hit him at that point. He never not said he's going to come to me. He's always told everybody he is going to come to me. He told my dad, he told every single person, don't worry, he going to come to me. He going to stand right in the middle. Teddy Atlas in the middle of the fight told Michael Moore he's trying to line you up for the right hand, he's trying to get you to the middle. Teddy Atlas told Michael Moore. Jim Lampley didn't believe George when George said the kid's gonna stand right in front of me and I'm gonna knock him out. And that's what Jim Lampley. That's why if you ask Jim Lampley, he ended up saying it happened.
Mm.
That's where it happened came from because George told him what's gonna happen.
He said, I didn't believe.
George always said like, "Hey, bro, it's a 12-round fight. No matter what I do, I'm sorry. What I do in round 1 and 2 don't matter no more. It's 12 rounds. I know what I got. If I plan my work, I keep working my plan. If my plan is to get you late, I'm gonna get you late. My plan is to, I plan for 12 rounds. I plan for 12 rounds.
Yep.
Joe Frazier won would do.
Uh, Yeah, those some good ones. And after they watched that, I'd even say go back and watch Ken Norton.
Ken Norton was nasty too. Ken Norton was a nasty one too.
And I'd even throw in there,
That's rough.
even though it's one of the older L's, so they say where it was, but Evander Holyfield. I watched that fight and I was like, "Doc, how much punishment can either one? Like, what, what is happening?"
From either one of them, Holyfield had to ask Lou Duval, "Are my teeth in my mouth in the middle of a fight?"
Bruh, the will.
Usually you hear signs like that from fighters, and you kind of like, "Hey, bro, that means you don't want to be here much no more." I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't feel my teeth or my mouth no more. We might cut the fight off.
It might be done. Like the willpower they both showed in that fight. Like, my goodness. I watched that fight not too long ago. That was crazy.
I talk crazy to my daddy and them all the time about that fight. I think you heard me talk to my daddy crazy. I said, "Y'all stupid because I would stop that fight so crazy and that stuff around. Y'all are insane." Especially at that point, Holyfield threw like 11 or 12 of them straight. And
Hmm.
somehow, way George still didn't necessarily stumble. He walked back to the corner like, he got me. What? What do you mean? What are you saying? He came to my grandma's house that next morning. I remember him. He came in. George always took red eyes out. He came early the next morning after he got his nap. My grandma was up in the kitchen. He had his glasses on. It was me. And I know for a fact, I think Leola was his youngest. Leola, we was all in there sleep. We used to sleep in my grandma's house, and my grandma had the different closets in the back of her room and all that. We used to sleep in the closets and stuff like that. Just cousins sleeping everywhere at your grandma's household. And I remember him waking up. I think I was the first one to wake up that day. And he had his glasses on. He was like, "Hey, come here. Come take my glasses off so I can see." And then I remember I touched him, and the eyes were swollen. He died, and scared me like that. Like I was like, "Yo, bro, what is wrong with that?" That was wild. But I remember that.
So if you
But
say you let's go back in time. Say you 21 and you fighting at that age. And you can take one thing that George did in the ring, what would you take?
his timing. If I could have George's timing on punches, I would be. Oh God, Lee. George had perfect timing. For as slow as George was, his timing on punches was so beautiful. If that was something and that was something he always had. So if that was something I could take, it would be George's punch time easily. If that's something to take from somebody, but I definitely would. I would take George's punch time easily, easily. But
Now,
would it be his feet? It might be his feet. It might be his feet. Timing on his feet, one of the two.
so what's your if you had to pick one, what's your favorite punch he threw? Not the opponent he hit it with, but what's
Jab, jab, without question, without question. That's part of the timing thing. That's part of the jab. That jab was pop at all times. People pop, no matter where you pop. How is it hitting me? You worried about the wrong thing, big dog. It is slapping you in the face right now. The jab, easy, easy.
okay. I think if I
Said good
think I
right hand to take you around the block, but a jab will take you around the world.
yeah. I think I might get greedy. I'll probably take the uppercut.
Which one?
The right.
Cooney called a lift.
Hey,
with the right hand on top of it, which was just murder, extra murder at that point. But you know, choose
hey,
how you want it.
my man walks smooth. He walks smooth through the uppercut.
Hey, you know he showed us that. He showed me. I know for sure he showed me and Monk. I think he showed Sniper that too, but I know for sure he showed me. You could, you have to mentally already have it in your head. And the thing is because it goes with your feet.
Hmm.
It's literally a step for step thing, and you can't stutter with it. It has to be the right step with the punch. And he, yeah, that's a nasty one. That was a nasty.
Y'all don't know what we talking about. Go pull that fight up. That was a smooth. Like I used to like run it back just to watch his feet. Like how he just walked and like, uh, uh, uh.
All of that was a part of training. That's how special George was. All that was a part of training. When I say everything was a part of training, everything, every aspect of what can go right or wrong in the ring is a part of training. Plan your work your plan. Man leaning over like that, you see him with his hands, you see the habits of him already. Okay, I got a plan for that. I got a plan for this. I got a plan for that. All of that is already planned out.
And speaking of training, how about you tell the people a few of the things Big George had you doing for training?
Digging holes. I ain't never dug so many holes. I dug holes, filled up, backed the hole. Once it settled, redug that hole. Uh, he bought a mule. I didn't say a four wheeler. I have to say it. And y'all know the mules that we use on the ranch, the vehicle, not the animal. The mule. I had a red mule. It was just mine. I had to push and pull said red mule. Meaning a good stretch of a distance away, probably by what was it? Probably about 30 yards up, 30 yards back, 3 minutes at a time, 15-minute run, 15 rounds. And the same thing with the hay bale. But it was way to do each one of those. People think like, oh, you just had to go push it and come back. No, it was a way to do it. Way to push and pull that mule too. So it's a pace that goes with everything. It's a pace. Everything is a pace, 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 pace. That's why he never, ever, ever, ever was out of condition. Ever. He just had to lose weight on his comeback. He was never out of condition. He just had to lose weight. He was big. He was 350 pounds, but he was on the ranch working. He was on the ranch working. That's all it was. He was working and preaching. He just had to lose weight. So he switched his diet to lose weight, and then he did. Then he was fighting. That was some of them. The rest of them, you throw one punch for a day. And I say one punch, and I mean one punch. 12, 15 rounds, one punch. One punch at a time. Use your left arm that day. Okay, whatever jab, whatever punch, your jab, left hook to the body, left hook to the head, whatever it was that one punch that day. Okay, cool. Next day, your right hand. One punch that day. Okay, cool. Next day, back to your left hand. Okay, cool. Next day, back to your right hand. Cool. But mind you, your legs got burnt up every single day in the middle of it. You might do 15 rounds. You might do 12, 15 rounds of just bouncing on your toes after you done did the jump rope to warm up. But you in the same spot in the ring, back and forth on your toes. Boom, 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 boom. That's what that was. And guess what he never did in the ring? He never jumped on his toes either. But I saw the tapes. I saw the workout tapes. He did it though. So I can't say nothing because I saw that he made me watch his tapes. Him and my dad sat me down. They watched it. I saw the workout tapes. I saw the sparring session. So you can't tell me what he did not do. And that's what he used to tell me all the time. I ain't telling you to do nothing I ain't did.
And that, my friends, why I went to basketball. Cause no thanks.
Absolutely. I should have kept throwing the shot put that I was good at. That's what it was. I should have kept, kids keep your education because you lose scholarship opportunities when you don't keep your education.
Cause all that stuff you said, and you was like, when you look back on it, some of it was fun. Like, I'm like, man, that sounds like basic training. Do I want to go back through it? No, thanks.
I ain't gonna lie to you, I'd rather go back to basic training than training with George.
Hey, that sound like
We was running because where was y'all was at where?
I was at Fort Jackson for
Yeah,
basic. Yeah,
yeah. We was in Great Lakes and it was cold. Ooh, it was cold. They had us running out there, boy. That ice was slapping me in the face while we running. And I'm like, smells like a good day to quit out here. Man. But that's what made it. That's what made it George, though, man. The 10 mile. Oh, 10 miles. It was 10 miles every Friday. Fridays were designated for 10-mile runs. Wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's what it was. Fridays were designated for 10-mile runs. It was still 10-mile runs leading up to the fight. The week before the fight. So like a week before the fight, it's still a 10-mile run. Don't trip. It was still a 10-mile run. And then the first time you do it, that's your max time, right? Okay, cool. So you can't go up under that time frame at all. So the second time it was like, okay, you got to find a pace. And then the problem is I found a cool pace at first. I remember once I found like a good pace, I was like, okay, I can knock out 5 miles an hour. That's easy. I'm rolling at that point. I'm 11:55, 12 minutes. No more than 12 minutes a mile, obviously. But I figured it out. I can get this done in 2 hours. Okay. But I think one, he started to figure it out. And then he came to that treadmill and he was like, boop, boop, boop. Let's see if you can get this done. And let's just do an hour 55. See how fast you can get. Okay. What about an hour 50? All right, my boy. You kind of pushing it now. But he did that though. He did that. He did that to get you there. Any other day, it was 3 to 4 miles. 3 to 4 miles, easy. It was never too much on your body. Never supposed to be too much on your body. Never supposed to be that much. He was a big proponent of that. Like it's not supposed to be so much on your body. Training is hard. Don't get it wrong. Your muscles are supposed to hurt, not your bones.
no thanks.
Hey, I cannot believe this is the discussion we have, man.
Yeah, man. Sad stuff.
I'm gonna miss that guy. I'm gonna miss the hell out of that guy. Oh, that dude was funny. His thing was making people eat. He used to love taking people to dinner. Mind you, this man was only eating fruits and vegetables and salads. He ain't even eating no meat. Oh man, going to dinner with that dude was always fun and funny.
Oh man, you got
I shaved my head the other day. You was laughing at first. Man, I ended up shaving my head. I was having a bad day. I want to say this was Tuesday or Wednesday before he died. Something just hit me mad. I was having a moment full, I was having a dad moment. I was up there missing my daughter that moment. But then something just wasn't going right. And something said, shave your head, bro, and look at yourself. And I couldn't comprehend it. Shaved my head and I felt better. And I was like, man, I get George now. It was just random. I understood him. My mama said the same thing. She was like, "You understand?" I was like, "For some reason, I get George now. I understand." And that must have been his little personal way, some kind of way to channel it through. Shit, I don't know, man.
Yeah. But man, we here for you, brother. You know I am.
For sure, for sure.
Always let me know.
Nonetheless, thanks, George, for changing the trajectory of every single last one of us Nelson kids. That's the original family name, Nelson. So I appreciate him changing every single aspect of the Nelson family and the perspective of it forever.
And like that, we out. Man, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Catch us on the next episode.
Here we see the hay moving, but is there someone back there? I see a little John John and a little of the hay. I see a lot of the hay and a little of John John. Come on, John John. Just like a fight. Can't be up all the time.
Here we go. Our face.
Face, yeah. Facebook.
Yeah, this ain't for no Facebook picture, so we need to go and cut that out.
Ain't nobody put. I don't put no
Yeah, you
Facebook.
do.
No,
I know you. Cause you forget I know you too well.
You go ahead, man.
This ain't no Facebook picture.
You just digging. This video.
We enjoy our privacy over here.
Yeah,
So don't nobody know what we doing.